Okay, everybody, thank you for joining today. We are here with Siobhan Mitchell from Lumitech, who is the channel manager for Lumitech, and she will be discussing with you POCO digital lighting control. If you could keep your lines muted, which they should be right now. There is at the bottom of your screen, if you move your cursor along it, you'll see both a chat and a Q&A area. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please post your questions in either the chat or Q&A area. And when the presentation is finished, we will try to answer all of your questions. So with that said, thank you to West Marine Pro, who is running these tips for the trade, and to Siobhan Mitchell for being our presenter today from Lumitech. And Siobhan, off to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to share some information with you on our POCO digital lighting control system. But before we get started, I always like to start about what makes Lumitech different. And, you know, obviously Lumitech, we are a premier brand within the marine LED lighting industry. But the things that make us different are the things I have listed on the side, the innovation. We are one of the few lighting manufacturers in the industry that offers a complete above and below waterline lighting solution and control with POCO. We implement things like boat-wide color match technology, and you'll hear me use terms such as TTP and PLI. One of the things that makes us different is the microprocessor that we have built into each light, a brain, as it were, that controls the light, that allows us to use proprietary technology like TTP and PLI, and allow those things to control the functionality that you get out of the lights. Another thing that's unique to Lumitech is the deep technical expertise that we try to exercise not only in our staff here, but put it into each product that we're creating. All of the products that are created by Lumitech are designed here at our factory. The lights are designed, tested, beta tested, and assembled right here in our local factory. We do state-of-the-art testing. We have labs, saltwater chambers, all of those things take place right here in this office to sort of build all the functionality that you need into the lights themselves. And of course, all of our lights, like I said, are made in the USA. They all come with an industry-leading 3-year manufacturer warranty. But what we're going to do today is talk specifically about POCO. What is POCO? So POCO is the Lumitech recently introduced digital lighting control system. It allows you complete digital control of all of your Lumitech PLI-enabled lights. It integrates through connection with your MFD or a connected smart device. Each POCO system comes with 4 channels, 10 amps per channel. So as many lights as you can install, up to 40 amps, you will be able to use the POCO digital lighting control system to control those lights digitally. One of the first things I want to talk about is what makes POCO, so it went back, different to TTP, and how does POCO differ to TTP? So TTP is our time toggle protocol technology, and that is technology that we have built into the lights themselves that allow you to manually go in and dim the lights or manually select your color output. Once you turn on a Lumitech light, you'll notice that the light takes about 4 to 5 seconds to ramp up to full intensity. If you interrupt that ramp at any point in time during that ramp up, it'll stay at the intensity that you selected. Or if it's a multi-color light, like one of our 3 or 4 color lights, if you keep toggling the light switch, it'll get to the secondary colors. If you get to if you're running our SBX spectrum lights, the lights will come on white and then toggle through all of the other colors. Once you get to the color that you want, you can simply toggle the light switch and it would stay on the color that you selected. So obviously TTP is a very manual process that allows you to work the lights. The POCO system digitizes all of that for you, and it provides one-touch color selection. So if you wanted the lights to come on green immediately, you would be able to do that. You would be able to go in and program light intensity. So you want the lights to operate at 50% intensity. You would be able to do that using the POCO digital lighting control system. And obviously the POCO has MFD integration, so it allows for digital control. You can also control it using a smart device, like your telephone or a tablet. It allows you to go in and set preset light scenes. So 4th of July holidays coming up. If you wanted all of the lights on the boat to turn on in some variations of red, white, and blue, you would be able to do that just using the preset scenes in the POCO system. So POCO really digitizes the control and takes it from a manual process into a digital process. Who is the ideal POCO customer? Really right now, it's anyone that's retrofitting a boat. If you're changing out the lights on your boat, the beauty of the POCO system and all of Lumitex's lights is that they are all 2-wire systems, so they don't require any additional wiring on the boats. So anyone installing new Lumitech lights, any of our lights that are PLI and cable enabled, any of the new underwater lights, anyone upgrading the lighting, you will be eligible to use POCO. So how does POCO work? So POCO utilizes PLI technology. PLI stands for Power Line Instruction. This is Lumitex's proprietary technology that provides the ability for us to provide your ability to control all of the functionality on the lights utilizing just the 2 power lines, the red and black power lines that come out of the light. So POCO allows you to control functions like color change, color selection, dimming, and advanced features such as preset scenes, just utilizing with one switch control. So how does it does it? By sending the instructions for each light for control and configuration instructions over the 2-wire power lines. So we're eliminating the need for any 3 or 4 or 3rd wire controlling command wires. There are a couple of ways that you can check to see if your lights are PLI enabled. First way, you can check the packaging. If they're newer lights, all of the Lumitech PLI enabled lights will come with an additional sticker on the packaging that says that these lights are PLI enabled. You can also check the serial number of the lights if you have access. All of the lights have serial numbers on the back of them. You can check against our PLI enabled list on our website. You can also conduct a manual firmware test on each light that you have with Lumitech that will allow you to understand whether or not that light is a PLI. All of this information is available on the lumitechlighting.com website. So we talk about PLI having MFD integration. Which of those MFDs does the light currently integrate with? So currently the supported models are natively, it will work with the Garmin 8400 and 8600 series of systems. Simrad, a number of those options are available. B&G, same there, Lowrance, and the Ray Marine release is planned for later on this year. The POCO app is available for download for both Apple and Android devices. You can download it from the Google Play Store or from the Apple App Store. Expandability. One of the things we kept getting asked as we introduced POCO onto the market space was, it's great that I can control my Lumitech lights with the POCO system, but can I also control other third-party systems and lighting accessories with the POCO system? And this is where the Pico expansion modules come in. The Pico expansion modules allows you to control non-PLI and third-party lighting accessories through the POCO digital lighting control system. The Pico modules have two modules, the C4 module, and it's in its simplest form. The C4 module takes third-party RGB and RGBW, so 3 and 4 or 5 wire lighting accessories, and it converts them into 2-wire system, which will allow you to control those using the POCO system. But it does more than that. What it does, it's really supplying TTP and PLI technology to non-Lumitech PLI lights. So it's giving those lights the ability to understand the commands that are coming from the POCO system into the lights themselves. The secondary module is the POCO P1 module that allows you to control other heavy powered systems through the POCO system. So utilizing, controlling a macerator pump or a live well pump through your POCO system is something that is available utilizing the POCO P1 module. Next, I want to spend a couple of moments explaining to you how simple it is to set up the POCO system. So basically, once you get into the POCO system, it's 3 simple steps that you go through in order to set up your lights onto the POCO system. You will assign light groups, you will create switches, and then you'll create and add a layout to your system. So once you go into the app, you'll know exactly what to look for. One of the things that is very important to understand prior to setting up your POCO system is to pay attention to which lights you want to put on to the POCO system and how you're going to align those lights. So get a general idea of which lights you want to install on each channel for the POCO system. And that means to do that, you have to understand clans. And what is a clan? A clan from Lumitech's perspective is simply an identification for a family of lights. So for instance, all of the downlights, lights that you will use over the console, in a salon, those lights, downlights will be considered on a single clan. Utility lights, your rail lights, those are a separate clan. Underwater lights, this would be a separate clan. And understanding what those clans or separate families of lights means you are better able to understand which lights you want to put on each separate channel, because each channel on POCO is like setting up a virtual circuit, and you can absolutely set up separate clans of families of lights on a separate channel of POCO and still maintain independent control for each of those lights. I have a diagram that I'm going to show you in its simplest form what this looks like. So we are in this diagram just utilizing one channel, channel 1 on the POCO system. And what we've done is we've identified 3 families of lights and showing how easy it is to be able to set up each family of light on a single POCO channel. The important thing to remember here with the POCO setup is just the amp draw, right? Remember, each channel has a 10 amp max for the number of lights that are on there. And so you just want to be able to remember that you are limited by the 10 amps. We are identifying here in the picture the amp draw of each of these lights. So obviously on channel 1, you have the ability to add multiple more lights onto each channel in order for control. Another thing to remember is when you're setting up the clans or families of products on each channel of POCO, every clan is going to operate the same way. So if you add additional underwater lights or additional down lights to this channel, all of the lights will operate the exact same way on each channel. Installation. I have a more detailed diagram here that shows and basically expands on the previous diagram that shows the setup as an example, a basic wiring diagram for the POCO system installation. So what we're doing, if you'll notice that each POCO has its own power wires, you'll notice each channel has a red output and an orange input wire. The red wire you would connect simply to the power, and the orange is where you would connect each of your lights onto each channel for separate control. The only place that this would differ is if you were installing some of the newer Lumitech X2 lights. You'll notice that these higher powered lights are now coming with from Lumitech with a third orange wire. The third orange wire acts as an internal relay, and it allows you to control the amp draw that's necessary to control these lights. For the underwater lights, these are lights where you would simply connect the orange wire to the orange output wire on your POCO system and separate and be able to run all of these lights on a single channel. Basically utilizing that orange wire from the higher powered lights like the X2s or the Typhoons, you will be able to, these are basically 0 amp draw on the POCO system, and you would be able to run an unlimited number of underwater lights utilizing the POCO system. Connectivity. How would you connect to your POCO system? So the 3 easiest ways are MFD integration. This is an Ethernet connection, not NEMA 2000. So you would connect the POCO system directly into the Ethernet port. Garmin, it will connect natively. Some of the other MFDs that we identified, Simrad, BNG, LowRANs, an adapter cable is required for the Ethernet connection. Lumitech is happy to provide that information when needed. Also, you can connect via app, via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, which is downloadable from the Google or Apple Play Store for both Apple and Android devices, or you can connect the app through Bluetooth. You can also connect through your computer using the web address for the POCO address. So guys, I think what I've done today is just share some information with you with regards to our POCO system. Simple but full of functionality that takes advantages of the technology that Lumitech has built into our lights. And so now I'll open the floor up to answering any questions you may have.
Siobhan, I don't see any questions yet, but if anyone on the line has questions, please, you can write them into the chat box or into the Q&A box, and we'd be happy to answer them.
Also included my direct contact information, as well as the information, contact information for the West Marine Pro team. And so if anyone wants to reach out after the call, any questions come to mind, feel free to do that as well.
Okay, so it looks like Robert has a question. Robert, if you want to, you can type your question out there. Or you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
So I see a question.
The question is, do you have any wall switches to control the POCO system?
So yes, you can, Robert, you can do both. So obviously POCO replaces the need for manual switches, but you can set it up where you can have both the manual switch and the POCO digital system running concurrently, and you have control for the light both ways. I would be happy to provide some additional walkthrough information. You can find some of that information on our website, lumitechlighting.com/POCO, but feel free to give us a call directly and we'll be happy to walk you through how that process works, Robert. I also see a question from Chris. Can you still operate the light manually? It would work the same way, Chris, as we explained with Robert. You can implement both manual switching in conjunction with your POCO digital lighting control system. What happens to your preset scenes when someone operates the light manually? So when operating the lights manually, the lights will go back into TTP mode, where you would be able to select your color output via TTP. And so the preset scenes, unless that takes a little bit more in-depth, background working to work the TTP, the preset scenes, but you would be able to do those manually. Manual control of the lights does not affect the preset scenes that you have set in POCO.
Siobhan, this is Lorraine at West Marine. It looks like we have a question from Nick. I have POCO on the boat and on my Pier Samsung S20 Ultra keeps getting kicked off. Phone compatibility issues fixed yet?
Yes. So we did have an issue actually. So Bluetooth upgraded their system, and we did figure out that there were some compatibility issues. If you, Nick, would just go on to the Lumitech and download the latest firmware update for your POCO, it will fix that issue and you should have no issues moving forward.
Another question from Chris. Can you still operate the light manually?
Yes, you can. You can operate the light manually using manual switches.
And there's also a question from Robert. Is there a way to use this with NSS Evo 2?
So Robert, let me go back and see if I can go back on this screen here. You can go to the Lumitech website and confirm the compatibility with the, hold on, I have too many screens open. With that particular model, I believe they are included in the, yes, I believe that is a compatible model for POCO compatibility. So you should have the ability to use this with the NSS Evo 2.
And another question, so the system checks the state of the light before it implements the scene. Is that true?
Correct. So basically, once you're utilizing a channel on POCO, you must provide power to that channel on each power. So the POCO system is providing a constant of power to each light and will constantly check the state of the light to see if you can implement the seed that you're trying to.
I can answer the next question from Robert. It says Evo 3, not Evo 2, but Evo 2 is also listed on your piece, but he's looking for NSS Evo 2.
So Robert, let me confirm, and I can confirm. If you could send me an email directly, I will confirm with my engineering team that the NSS Evo 2 is included in the compatibility models.
Siobhan, do you want to move to your contact slide so that he can see your
Absolutely.
email too?
And you can feel free to call Lumitech Tech Support at any point in time. We've got a couple of POCO experts on there, and they would be happy to walk anyone through any questions or concerns that they might have while setting this up.
Okay. It looks like we're not able to unmute you, so if you do have additional questions, please either put them in chat or Q&A, and Siobhan will do her best to answer your questions.
Absolutely. The great thing about working in an office where all the engineers are is that these guys are right there. And so any questions that I'm unable to answer, I have direct access to the guys who are building the software and the technology. And so you get the best answer you can possibly get. Robert, if you wanted to, I was going to say if you wanted to, you could provide your phone number, but I'm not, I imagine this is open to everyone, and I would be happy to reach out to you directly.
And Siobhan, it looks like that's the end of the questions that I see. I don't see any others in chat as well. But I wanted to say thank you to you and to West Marine Pro for taking the time to provide this education to the industry. And if you do have any additional questions, Siobhan, we do have one more.
Sure.
With a manual switch, does it control the input to the system or the switch the output?
It switches the output. But I don't want to simplify it too much, Robert. There is some additional technology and configuration that goes behind when running a manual switch. Obviously, the system is designed as a digital switching, so removes the need for manual switching. And so I would encourage you to reach out directly so that we can certainly walk you through that process.
And Siobhan, you should be able to see his email address now.
Okay.
On that. Well, again, thank you to everyone involved, and we appreciate you taking time out of your day to participate today. And keep in mind that next Tuesday there is another webinar on another topic. If you want further information, let us know on tips to the trade. Lorraine, do you want to tell them what the topic is for next week?
Sure. Next week, we are going to have West Systems on and talk about epoxy repair.
Perfect. Well, thanks to everyone again, and thank you for your participation, and we'll see you or speak with you on Tuesday.